Watching this modern tank aggressively maneuver and fire at high speed across the desert raises an immediate tactical question. In a real-world combat scenario, which Islamic nation's main battle tank actually dominates the field? Look at this facility lineup. This is Turkey's Altay, a sovereign, high-tech heavyweight engineered from the ground up to match the most advanced NATO platforms. Contrast that with this image of Pakistan's Al-Zarar tearing through rugged terrain. This is a highly agile, cost-effective legacy upgrade designed to put massive numbers of lethal guns on the front lines. And here we see Iran's Zulfikar secured to a heavy transport. With its boxy, welded steel turret and reactive armor blocks, it is a hybrid platform engineered entirely to survive total geopolitical isolation. Welcome to Global Warwatch Network. If you want precise, data-driven analysis on global military hardware and doctrine, make sure to hit subscribe. Take a look at this standard armor comparison matrix. Ranking these platforms by looking purely at who has the thickest composite plating creates a completely false narrative about combat effectiveness. A tank cannot operate in a vacuum. Its real-world performance is strictly limited by the nation's supply chain, its defense budget, and the geographical terrain it has to cross. Dominating the battlefield relies entirely on how perfectly a tank's engineering trade-offs match the specific doctrine of the military deploying it. To understand these trade-offs, we compare their footprints. Weight dictates where they can fight. Turkey's Altay prioritizes survivability, pushing its mass to 65 tons. Moving that requires immense force, so the Altay houses a 1,500 horsepower engine to maintain 65 kilometers per hour. Pakistan took a completely different route. The Al-Zarar is actually built upon the chassis of the aging 1950s-era Chinese Type 59. Modifying that legacy chassis gives the Al-Zarar a lighter combat weight of 42.7 tons, powered by a 730 horsepower engine. This weight difference directly impacts agility, achieving a highly responsive power-to-weight ratio of roughly 18 horsepower per ton. That lighter weight reduces the logistical burden. The Altay's 65-ton mass restricts the civilian bridges it can cross and requires specialized recovery vehicles if it breaks down. Meanwhile, the Al-Zarar crosses weaker infrastructure and is towed by standard equipment. The Altay trades strategic deployment flexibility for raw defensive power, while the Al-Zarar sacrifices defensive mass to ensure it can actually traverse restrictive terrain. On the offensive side, the Altay utilizes a modern NATO-standard 120mm smoothbore cannon. The Al-Zarar mounts a larger 125mm smoothbore cannon, capable of firing domestically produced depleted uranium NISA rounds, designed to penetrate up to 550 millimeters of armor at a distance of 2 kilometers. Look at this turret wireframe. Both tanks reject automated carousel loaders for manual loading. This mandates a 4-man crew: commander, gunner, driver, and loader, capping the fire rate at 6 to 8 rounds per minute, which slows as the loader fatigues. A 4th crew member provides essential manpower for prolonged field maintenance. When a track is thrown or a heavy component needs replacing in the dirt, that extra set of hands drastically cuts down repair times, while also increasing the crew's overall situational awareness. For Turkish and Pakistani military planners, operational sustainability and field repair capability outweigh theoretical maximum rates of fire. As seen at this Defense Expo, the Altay prioritizes maximum survivability by utilizing an advanced boron carbide composite armor package designed by Roketsan. It combines this armor with the AKK-OR active protection system, providing a 360-degree radar shield to intercept incoming missiles. However, integrating this technology drives the Altay's unit cost up to $15 million, strictly limiting the total number Turkey can realistically field. Pakistan's Al-Zarar takes a pragmatic approach, taking an older, thinner steel shell and upgrading it with modular explosive reactive armor panels. This lower-tier protection drastically reduces manufacturing costs, allowing Pakistan to affordably deploy and maintain a massive fleet of over 500 units to cover its borders. Iran's Zulfikar relies on scavenging a mix of welded steel and composite armor. It is a design born out of necessity to bypass strict international technology embargoes. Despite operating in isolation, Iranian engineers still integrated pulse Doppler active protection systems into the Zulfikar to maintain a credible regional deterrent. Armored defense is an economic scale. A military must choose between fielding a handful of nearly invincible, highly expensive platforms or a massive swarm of affordable tanks that are simply good enough for the task at hand. This final evaluation matrix maps these tanks directly to the specific tactical environments they were designed to fight in. The Altai drops firmly into the high-intensity pure conflict category. It is only viable for wealthy, technologically integrated nations that possess the massive logistical infrastructure and budgets required to fuel, transport, and repair 65-ton heavyweights on the front lines. The Al-Zarar is categorized under asymmetric and regional defense. It is the perfect tool for pragmatic militaries tasked with defending vast borders, relying on physical agility, lethal upgunning, and massive fleet numbers, rather than armor thickness to overwhelm threats. The Zulfikar sits in isolated operations. It is a necessary hybrid, engineered purely to maintain a working armored deterrence while surviving severe, decades-long technological embargoes. There is no single best tank in a vacuum. Battlefield dominance is achieved only when the engineering of the armor perfectly reflects the economic and geopolitical reality of the nation operating it. Thank you for watching. Based on the geography and budget of your own region, which of these 3 distinct approaches would you adopt for your armored core? Drop your tactical assessment in the comments below. If you found this breakdown useful, please like this video, share it, and subscribe to Global Warwatch Network for more defense analysis. You can find our social media links in the description.